Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 27th, and today I listened to I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You by Aretha Franklin. This album was really huge in the fact that it was Aretha's first, big album when it comes to sales and success. This is actually her 10th album. Before that, she released 9 jazz albums that didn't do that well commercially. And the album that really jump-started Aretha Franklin's career is very important to music history because if Aretha isn't the most influential and important woman in Western music, she's definitely in the top 3. Aside from the huge impact her career had for women and especially black women in the music industry, she was the first woman to ever be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So now that we got all that out of the way, giving you some history and making it clear that Aretha Franklin was very important and I have a lot of respect for her, my first impression of this album is that the songs all kind of sounded the same. They were all kind of that gospel, soul-influenced music. Most of them were in 6/8 time. And there were a pretty good number of covers on this album as well. I always thought that Respect was an Aretha Franklin original song, but it's actually a cover from Otis Redding. She also covers Sam Cooke on this album, who is another giant when it comes to soul music. I'm not saying that these songs are bad, they're just not exactly my thing. I could acknowledge that Aretha is an incredibly talented vocalist, she has a lot of presence, and clearly 9 albums in, she has some experience. But let's just say I'm glad that the album is as short as it was, because otherwise it would have been getting pretty repetitive. These are all decent songs, but it feels like the same decent song over and over. My favorite song on this album was the closing track, her cover of Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come. That's a song that's often called one of the greatest to ever be released, and I don't think that's based on nothing. It really is a powerful song, and Aretha does it justice with her version. I got goosebumps listening to it. And if nothing else, that cover would be able to demonstrate to anybody listening that Aretha Franklin really would go on to do great things with her career. There weren't any songs on this album that I disliked. There were plenty that I thought weren't terribly interesting, but there are a couple others I'd like to talk about. The title track I thought was just going to be a standard love song, but it's actually more like a I'm trapped in a bad relationship but I just can't leave him type of thing. That's definitely not what I expected. Though perhaps a little bit more expected is the fact that there are a lot of songs on this album about being a woman. In fact, the most famous song from this album, Respect, is a cover, but it's a cover where she changed the lyrics to make it more empowering to the woman in the situation. The original from Otis Redding was not really a woman's empowerment anthem, the way that Respect by Aretha Franklin ended up being. So now we get to the final question of, do I think this album holds up? As a collection of songs, sure. As an album, not really. As an album, it's a little too homogenous and repetitive, but these are decent songs. But anyway, that's just my opinion. That's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.